Yo, what's going on, gang? You already know the name that's running gang with the boy KT, man. Today, man, I am going to be working on the F-150 again, working on the Harley truck, but I've been wanting to do this job for a while now, to be quite honest. Now, if you guys saw the previous videos, I did lower the truck. I did, man, I did a lot of work to it. I did upper, lower control arm, sway bar end link, arm stabilizer, pitman arm. I got springs, I got shocks, I got new hangers, new, man, we just got a whole lot of new parts on this truck. And I barely got this truck in like June. And it's only November right now. So man, that's a lot of work, to be quite honest, for a pretty new vehicle. Well, at least new to me. So I'm ready to get this job. It's going to be quite lengthy. It's going to be pretty labor intensive, but I'm ready to get this done. I'm ready to get this truck ready to cruise, man. I still don't even know this truck. You know, I've only drove it. I only really know the suspension as of right now, to be quite honest. But, you know, it takes some time and we're going to get pretty acquainted with the truck. And so let's go ahead and dig in. Okay, so I have the truck parked in reverse here, and I already got the front tires, you know, a chuck under the front tire so it won't roll forward. I need to go ahead and loosen up the lugs on the wheels and lift up the rear. What I'm going to be doing is taking out the rear axle and completely stripping it, painting it, and just refreshing it up, because it is a used rear axle from another Ford that was at a salvage yard. And so, you know, I want to completely pretty much restore it and throw it back in better than it was before. So I'm just going to be recording the process. So let's go ahead and get started by loosening up the wheels. Alright, so I got the wheels off. I got some jack stands underneath it, so it's safe to work on. I'm just going to start taking everything apart. You know, the parking brake, you just gotta do a clip here, move it out the way, and then the shocks gotta be taken apart. Loosen up the leaf springs, well, the U-bolts here for the axle. And yeah, I mean, it's not really much. Of course, you do have the drive shaft as well, but as far as like taking things off and getting it out real quick, it's pretty easy. So, but yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get started and get this process ongoing. It's the next day and I'm still going to be working on this, but I just want to show you guys what condition this axle is in. Like I said, it was at a salvage yard just sitting there. If you guys saw my other video, I did break the axle shaft and a little bit of the axle to where it wasn't usable any longer on the original axle. So that's the reason why I had to get this used one here. It's not in bad condition. I've been driving with it. And one thing I did want to mention, one of the times I was driving it, I did have one of the calipers lock up on me. I'm not sure which one it was. Real quickly I pulled over and you know, once I checked it out and took off, it was working as it should, but I came back home to park it just because I didn't want to get stranded with a lock caliper. Now for most people, this is, you know, it's not a bad axle at all. It does have a little bit of leaking in the corners from the cover, and you know, everything is functioning as it should, but I want to really clean this thing up, really restore it, and do a little bit of modifications onto it. So let's go ahead and take this thing apart and get started on it. Bruh. This is it. Bro. Alright, so I'm pretty sure the good thing I put the camera right here, because as you guys saw, the parking brake was just broken. They weren't even sticking onto the shoe anymore, but they should be on there, and then they expand whenever you use the parking brake. Well, I guess these were just loose in here and they were just rolling around. So I'm gonna have to change this out. Let's go ahead and check that other side. This is the way it should be. See, the pads are still on there. I'm still going to have to change this one out as well. But at least I know what the issue is, and it wasn't actually the calipers. Let's just go ahead and continue taking this thing apart.
Play dead made that.
Silky beef.
Okay, so the axle pretty much for the most part is completely stripped. Got the brakes off, we got the breather hose off, still have the nut right there though. And then I did loosen up the bracket for the brakes here, which does have the deflector for the brake dust, the brake shield, that's what it's called. So these are completely loose. I just need to go ahead and take off the axles to get them completely off. Now I'm going to be working on the actual differential here. I'm going to take off the cover. It's going to have some fluid in here, got to drain it out. Then I'll show you guys exactly step by step to take out the differential and as well the axles, and we'll get this thing completely stripped down. Alright, so this is gonna be how to get the axle shafts out and as well for the differential. You gotta go ahead and find this bolt right here, which is going to hold in that center pin. I believe that's a 3/8. I already have a 3/8 right here, and let's go ahead. Probably has some thread locker on it, so get that right out. Now just going to spin it because the center pin only comes out one way. You got to find out which way it comes out. Okay. So it comes out that way. And now you're going to get the shafts out. Alright, so you're just going to push in on the shaft towards the differential, and then it will allow the shafts to be pushed in, and you'll get the C-clips out, and you could go ahead and pull the shaft out. Okay, so as you guys saw, I did completely strip it out, and I did take out the seals as well. I did hit the lower lip here, but I could just grind it down and it should be completely fine. Also, I did take out the pinion seal right there, and then the other side for the axle. To really completely strip the rear axle, I gotta go ahead and take out these bearings since I am going to replace this. Now I do have a parts kit right here, well, not a parts kit, but a puller, a bearing puller, a seal puller. It does have a slide hammer, which you guys see over there, and then some attachments. What I'm going to try to use is this attachment right here. It just simply goes into the bearing, the hole right there, and then you spread it out and try to hit that thing out with the slide hammer. As well, this other tool might be useful for me. It just kind of catches on the edge, and then you try to hit that thing out. But let's go ahead and try to do that right now. So you guys saw me take off the bearings. I did have to break them. I did finally get the bearing out, the actual housing or whatever you want to call it, and as well as the race for the differential on the pinion. To be quite honest, it was quite a bit of work, and also part of the problem is that I have the axle off of the vehicle. So if you have the axle on the vehicle, it'll hold it steady, and so you'll get better hits off of using that tool I was using. Also, that tool, you can rent it from your auto parts store. I did get the passenger side completely out, and they're pretty dirty as well. Like I said, this is a salvage or axle from the salvage yard, so it might have gotten some water in there, but I did clean it out and they're not looking too bad. Like I said, I did nick the corner here when taking off the seal, but that's not really an issue. I could just grind that down and sand it down and it'll be completely fine. But the bearings came out, the race came out, and now this axle is completely stripped down. So that's going to be the end of this part 1 of taking out the axle and completely stripping it down. Next I am going to be doing some other work. Now, to be quite honest, all I was really planning to do was take down the axle, freshen it up a bit and throw it back in, but now since I have it out, you know, other things been running into my mind, so I am going to do a bit of additional things onto it, but you guys will be able to see that on the other part. Guys, that's going to be the end of this video. If you guys have any questions, drop them down below. As well, check out the description box. I have my online website there, as well as my social media if you guys want to go ahead and contact me or just chat it on up. But alright guys, that's going to be the end of this video. Hopefully you got a bit of knowledge out of it, and as always, I'm going to have to catch you on the next one.